At the start of May, I made a video on Roblox where I not only took a deep look at the predator problem, but I even invaded some of these studios myself to see what really goes on behind closed doors. What I found was incredibly disturbing, and of course reports were made with both the NCMEC and Roblox. And today, not only do I have terrible news to share, but I can confirm that one of these predators is still actively hurting children. Now before we get into the main update on this video, I do want to give another update on someone that I covered in that video. During one section of the video, I covered a studio which was painted in map flags. One that had incredibly disturbing messaging all throughout, and to be honest, he was one of the worst predators that I have ever seen across any platform. That person left a comment on my video and said, "Hey there, original owner of that last Discord account you reviewed, I'd like to preface it was compromised about a year ago, lost any way of retrieving it due to my laziness of using a simple password. Seeing it pop up here was absolutely baffling and disgusting. Realizing that I might be framed for something I was unaware of and having my life ruined due to poor security is a terrifying thought, especially since I know I do have pictures of me on that account." They did offer to speak to me more and they sent me an email, and after that email I managed to get in touch with them via social media. The only social they had was Snapchat, so I don't have any proof of the messages, you'll just have to take my word for it, but why would I even lie about that? But I did speak to this person and they said that they lost their account because, like they say, they used a simple password and that they didn't have any proof of them actually losing their account. I think you can understand why people like me would have some concerns that people could easily lie to get out of this situation, so I asked if he had any email proof, I asked if he had any text message proof, maybe from his friends saying, "Oh hey dude, your Discord account has been hacked." But sadly he couldn't provide any of that, and I did try to think of as many things as possible that he could just prove, but you know, sadly, he couldn't do it easily, and it's not my job to investigate that further because there is actual law enforcement who can do that for us. So I included his details in a second report to the NCMEC, and so far I have heard nothing back. And sadly, another person who had associated with him actually also commented on the video, but sadly it was someone who was groomed by that Discord account. And through the evidence that they had, they managed to send a picture that confirmed that the account did have access to pictures of this guy's face. Sadly, and I'd kind of dropped the ball on this one, but I didn't ask for any confirmation pictures, and I'll take full responsibility that I should have done that. But the fact that, like the person says, this might genuinely be a hacked account, and people are being groomed by that account, it's very concerning. And even more concerning, you could argue that I haven't heard anything back from Roblox or the NCMEC. And the person did block me on Roblox and then also delete the Discord account. They either deleted it or it was banned. So there's a whole lot of things it could be, but I just wanted to bring up that update as well. And of course now we get on to the main update of the video, and this is a big one because one of the predators that I managed to find in that video is still actively hurting minors and may have as many as 8 ongoing victims. So I got an email a couple of days ago by someone who I will not name, and they said, "Hello, I'm writing this email because I have a situation of sorts that I believe you or someone you know can potentially help solve. Over the course of several weeks, I've taken to doing my own brand of finding and getting creeps and predators on Roblox and Discord, reported and dealt with. The reason I reached out in that time is that I came across an individual who has deeply disturbed me and was the subject of one of your videos." And right enough, they dropped the username of a user who I covered in the first Invading a Studio section of that Roblox video. Now this person really disturbed me. If you watch the video, it's the one where I literally had to call my friend to come on with me just to make sure that my eyes weren't deceiving me. And they had an incredibly disturbing studio that I already suspected they had brought minors on before because they were too good at it, simply put. And they were in a lot of disturbing groups, they had a lot of friends who also appeared to be minors, and overall they were just a massive creep. Now I am happy to report that he has now been banned from Roblox on his main account, but he has implied that he has multiple Roblox accounts, and I believe that anyway. Because we all know something about predators, they love to have multiple accounts, and we know that Roblox doesn't IP ban people for this stuff, so even if his main now has been banned, which it has, he can easily just go and play his sick games on a second one. Before we get into this video, I just wanted to say that it has been heavily edited, and I really apologise for that. I am very nervous about this one in particular getting taken down, because this guy that we're going to be speaking about today is absolutely disgusting. So if you can look past that, then please, this video is really important. And let me just clarify, I did try to get in touch with YouTube support for some additional clarification on their terms, because this is an educational and documentary type of video, right? And the person who I spoke to essentially refused to, so that shows you how bad YouTube's moderation is. And if this video does get taken down, you can't say I didn't try. But YouTube, if you're watching this, I've done the most I can to make sure that this is suitable for your platform, and it is completely suitable. Nothing in this video breaks your community guidelines. So thank you for sticking with me throughout this video, and yeah, enjoy guys. So I'm going to show some of the messages. I don't know how many I'm going to be able to show, but I'll do my best. So this person appears to also have 2 Discord accounts as well as Roblox accounts, and they said they initially confirmed that their age was 27, which again was the case with the person in the video. And then he continued to say to the person who he was messaging, "Do you think I won't feel good from your Papa? Don't think so. You can be good or bad, girl, but let me tell you this, I'm getting what I want one way or another, even if I have to force you." So this person then asks if Golden Doggo has a daddy, to which he replies, "I'm talking to one of my right now, unless my little toy is dumb enough to figure out since she's in middle school maybe." So then he says that he wants to roleplay with this person, and he also follows it up by saying, "Unless you're like the other girls I've talked with who unfriend me and remove me, maybe Papa is too much for them." Now this guy has an obsession with calling himself Papa, and I don't know if that's a common thing for predators on Roblox, because I have seen that pop up in more than one story, but yeah, just a note. So then, out of completely nowhere, he asks for the person's Roblox, and in this same message he gives his username, and lo and behold, his name is Golden Doggo 22, and he follows it up with an incredibly disturbing message to someone who he believes is a minor, saying, "Be a good tiny and always listen to what Papa says, okay?" And then it appears that the conversation moved over to another account, and he does confirm later that this is also the account of his, because he gives his Roblox username again, just in case you're wondering how we can actually prove that this is him. But this is where the messages get really, really bad, and I'm talking terrible, because we get a full insight into this man's disturbed mind, and this is one of the reasons why I think he needs to be shut down like yesterday, and why I believe the NCMEC really need to deal with this report. So he mentions at the top 2 adults and 1, which I can only assume is him asking for a with this and 2 adults including himself. So he then says, "If you're doing it with someone, make sure to ask if they're into you're my addicted." So then the person says, "Maybe you two will end up sharing me," to which he replies, "That's the idea. You don't want to take in turn on your sweet little body. Promise Papa this," again with the Papa, "you will never with someone the same age as you, only with." So then there's a conversation about how the minor's going to eat and how he's going to eat as well, and then after that he decides to follow up this goodbye by simply saying, "I'll be back after an hour and a half, how's that? Then when we're both available, I can finally my cute." And you can really see how he gets into the minds of people that he's grooming, because even in this message, he comes home from work and then the person says that they want to lay down in their bed. And what does he reply? He replies asking if he can have ERP with them for an hour before they go and lay down and actually enjoy their rest. And this is when he again confirms that he is the same user, because he says, "Let's go studio then, baby. I'm using Golden Doggo 22 this time." And by the fact he said, "I'm using Golden Doggo 22 this time," that's what implies to me in these messages that he most certainly has an alt account. If anyone out there can find that alt account or find any other online information about this man, please, I am begging you to do it, because this man needs to be shut down. And this is another part of these chats which really highlights to me how disturbed he is, because he says a bunch of stuff again, but then he follows it up by saying, "Would be nice if you have more AAM servers that involve Roblox." So by saying more AAM servers as well, that implies to me that not only is he already in spaces with minors, but he wants to be in even more. Now realistically, there are probably some decoys in these servers, but at the same time, there are probably a majority of genuine minors who don't realise they're being groomed. This person is not only proven to be engaging with minors in Roblox in a way, but he's actively trying to engage with even more in Discord. And we have even more proof of that later. So yeah, one of the servers that he appears to be in, he said the server is banned, by the way, to which the person says, oh man, that sucks. And then he says, it is, I can't stalk victims anymore. So the person says, you're always on the hunt, huh? To which he says, most of the times, yeah. And then the person says, you make it sound like a game to you, to which he says, yes, that's why I've been adding girls lately, I want to f them. And then the person asks how many he's added, and he says that he's added 7, he thinks. Now that might seem like a small number in any other fashion, but when it is in a case like this, where we're speaking about a predator having contact with minors, 7 is an incredibly large number. And his account has been on Roblox for ages. Like I said, it's down now, thankfully. He definitely has an alt, and his Discords are still here as well. Surely if you're in a server like that, that should result in an instant ban for you, no? So then he says that most of these girls go offline a lot, and the person says 7 girls and me, that's 8, to which he says, yes, I think even more, because some are just offline. So think about this. This could be minors whose parents have maybe caught them doing this, or minors who've just decided that they don't want to interact with predators, people who've come to the realization that they're being groomed. I'd be incredibly interested for law enforcement to find out just how many minors that he actually has on his friends list, because by the sounds of it, not only is he actively seeking them out, but he's already in contact with, I'd say the number is probably in the 10s at this point. And then after the person says maybe their parents caught them or something, he says, I don't care, they served their purpose to me. And that's a big insight into his mind, because he's really treating kids as if they're just toys. He goes on Roblox, which is inherently a kid's game, has fun with them, and then just discards them. Cause he thinks like that, that proves to me even more that that number is way higher than he's actually admitting to. Because think about the amount of times that he's probably got a bit went on Roblox and decided to add a kid and do his thing with them. That adds up, and he probably has a victim list that is over 2 pages long. So then the person asks if he made a new account already, to which he says no, so yeah, his Roblox was definitely banned, but then he also implies that he's now trying to find another 8 AM server on Discord yet again. He is not only a sick freak, but he's absolutely determined in his complete sickness to find more kids. And I bet one check of his hard drive would turn up a lot of disturbing stuff that could land him behind bars for years. So then he recalls a very disturbing incident where he had fun with a kid on Roblox. He said, I was planning on sharing you yesterday, but you weren't online, so I forced my other to take turns. We her for almost 3 hours. So then the person asks who the other guy was, to which he says, just a random, he wants to add me, but no, lol. What's funny is he doesn't even really So then he says, when we were in the game, I told my to give him a good when he into her mouth, I told my to tell him how old she is. She said 15. And then the person asked, did he freak out? To which he says, I think so, lol. He said, damn, that's the only word he said. He didn't leave immediately, and I told him you can fuck her from the back while she's to my. Then I called her to come over me and give me a and told her to raise her for him and beg him to fuck her. This is hilarious, cause it's okay, come f my. The other guy, I don't know, it's just funny. He is like thinking if he should do it, but he was like, f it, and said, if you say so, then to her. He hasn't a killjoy too, and roleplayed like he's actually. I can already tell that absolutely none of that is going to stay in the final edit because I physically can't say that on YouTube, but listen. Everything that was in this chat log is incredibly disturbing. He recalled how he tricked a person into coming to have Roblox ERP with him, which is already disturbing in the first place. You're already a weirdo if you do that, but he tricked someone who just wanted to ERP into coming to his studio and then having virtual with an actual. And then he also says that the guy from that incident might have developed a child kink. There's no such thing as a child kink. That's called being a f***ing pedo. So then he actually says how he started to get into this, and he played Roblox even before he went for children, but says that he used to go for adults, but now it will be both. And the person asks what made the change, to which he says, my 20-year-old asked me to do age play. That's when I started effing minors. She got jealous after she found my other account filled with minor accounts and stopped talking to me. Though I effed her again like last week, we did some hate F. She's telling me how she hated me while I'm effing her, while feeling good at the same time. And after our we stopped talking again, lol. It seems that he had a 20-year-old person who he was having virtual relations with a lot. And this again confirms he has multiple accounts, because not only is he doing all of this stuff on what was his main account, which I can assume is Golden Doggo, but he's got another account where he basically exclusively adds minors, it would seem. So that's 2, even from an incident that seemed to have happened a while back. So think about how many alts he has now. And there is another message that this person sent before all of this happened, where she says, "I have been imagining what you look like for a while. I'm just so curious." And this person is clearly trying to protect himself, because he said, "Shut up, you can keep imagining." So there's no doubt in my mind that not only does he know what he's doing is wrong and illegal, but he really wants to protect himself. I'd be very interested to find out who is the man behind all of this. And like I said in my initial section where I covered this guy in my original video, like I said, I did go into one of his studios, and at the end, before he blocked me for whatever reason, he asked if he could invite one of his friends. So the incident that he recalled where he invited someone else to play, I can assume that that's true because he tried to do it with me. And although this guy does engage in a lot of virtual relations, like I said, it would not surprise me if he has actually groomed these minors into sending him NSFW pictures. Either that or he has exposed himself to minors. I could really see either way. But to be honest, I don't even think he would do the second, simply because he wants to protect himself and he knows what he's doing is illegal. So the person who got in touch with me said that to their knowledge, both his Roblox account had been banned. They were unsure if he's made any more, but they'll inquire because they were still talking to him at this point. And even more evidence, in my opinion, to the fact he has more victims than we'll ever find out is that I really didn't even do anything to cause suspicion after I engaged in activities with him in that studio. I was still acting as a decoy, and he simply left and blocked me. So if he was willing to do that to me, then how many other minors is he just discarding like that? And this is where I inquire to you for help, because at this point, I don't know what much more I can do. Like I said, I've reported this to Roblox and the NCMEC. Roblox have now taken action, but I highly doubt they've device or IP banned him, and the NCMEC still have not responded. They've also not responded to the other case that I reported, and I understand that they have to file for a lot of reports, but at the end of the day, this is children we're talking about, and I believe that both of these people may still be actively harming minors. So if you have any information, or you may have had an experience with a user called Golden Doggo 22 or any similar name, please reach out and please make a report yourself, because your experience matters, and these people are so dangerous, and it makes you feel helpless. I really don't feel like I can do much, and that's sore, that's really painful. So if you do want to get in touch with me, then you can reach me via email, which is on screen right now, any of my social medias, or my Discord server, where the link is discord.gg/jessicur. If you even need any support in making a report to the NCMEC or something like that, please don't hesitate to reach out either. And thank you so much for making it to the end of this really important video. I love you all. I'll be back very soon with another video, but if you want to check out my initial Roblox video, then check out the video that's on the screen.